ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कथं मह्यं ददति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलान् श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सह गणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादि सदारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Reading from Prabhupāda-līlāmṛta, Volume 2, Chapter 46, continuing from where we left last time. Let me know if you can see the screen as well.
Yes, Prabhuji. Can see.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. Ordinary education is sufficient. Prabhupada was saying A, B, C, D. This is nonsense. Big education and then later on become a prostitute. To make them prostitute doesn't require education. So in Dallas Gurukula, there is no problem. Educate the girls how to become faithful, chaste wife, how to cook nicely. Let them learn varieties of cooking. Is it very difficult? These two qualifications. There are many stories such as Damayanti, Damayanti, Parvati, Sita, great women in the history. Our girls should read their lives, and by 15 and 16 years they should be married. If they are qualified, it will not be difficult to find out a nice husband. If a woman is chaste, even though she is not very beautiful, she will be liked by her husband. So train them in that way. Before starting back, Srila Prabhupada stopped and suggested they all sit together on the grass. A disciple volunteered his wool chadar as a seat for Prabhupada, and the devotees all sat down, facing their spiritual master. Special unexpected occasions like this made them blissful, and the opinions of a TV news reporter or the Chicago Tribune seemed remote and unimportant. The devotees often wished such persons could be present at times like these to see that Srila Prabhupada was not at all like they thought. Srila Prabhupada began discussing the proper relations between men and women. Women and men should live separately, he said. That is all essential, also essential. Butter and fire must be kept apart. Otherwise, the butter will melt. You cannot stop it. Devotee. Srila Prabhupada, in a purport in the Srimad Bhagavatam, you say that even 50 years ago in India, the householders had separate quarters in the apartment for men and women, and the husband would not see his wife during the day. Is this the standard we should develop in our movement? Prabhupada. Yes, that is good. The example is that butter and fire should be kept as far apart as possible. Otherwise, the butter will melt. The man is butter and the woman is fire. So this is restricted. Even if the man happens to be father, brother, or son, matra swas swas swasra duhitrava. One may say that people will not think of sex impulse in the presence of daughter, mother, or sister. But the Shastras says no, there is possibility. So they should not sit together. People may say this is only advice uh, for the 10th class rascal. But the next line of the Shastra says no. Vidvamsham api. Sorry, Vidvamsham api karsati. It is not the question of the 10th class rascal, but even first class learned, he may be attracted. Balavan Indriya Gramo Vidvamsam Api Karshati. The senses are so strong that they can mislead even the most learned scholar. Lord Brahma was attracted to his daughter. Just see, there is the example. Lord Shiva was attracted by Mohini Murti. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, even if I see a woman, I become attracted. Prabhupada laughed. He is giving this information to teach us that it is possible. So, shall we go now? Returning in the car, Prabhupada asked for news of Indira Gandhi and India. Some of her policies had become highly controversial, and political opposition to her was mounting. The latest news was of her emergency rule. If Indira Gandhi takes my advice, Prabhupada said, then I can keep her on the post and she can do greater service to the India. Immediately, the whole public will give her support. What would your advice to her be? Asked Brahmananda Swami. My first step, said Prabhupada, will be to capture all the hoarders and distribute the grains free. Immediately, the public will be obliged to her. There are immense amounts of food grains and they are simply hoarded. They are not selling without good price. This is going on. Immediately, she can win the public. Some of the hoarders should be hanged so that in the future nobody will hoard. People are hungry, and she says she has got some program to drive away the poverty. This is the point. If she can supply all consumer goods free to the poor for the time being, then immediately the whole population will like her, and hoarders should be exemplarily punished. Then nobody will hoard. But to remain the leader, she requires spiritual knowledge. Otherwise, it will be another disaster. If she wants to remain leader, then she must be spiritual person. She must become a Vaishnavi. Philadelphia, July 11, 1975. Prabhupada's receptions were usually large, spontaneous turnouts. The temple population would increase greatly just before his arrival in the city as devotees from other centers converged. Except for a handful of disciples, the women preparing Prabhupada's meal, the men laying down the last tiles in his room or working on the Rath Yatra cart, everyone would go to the airport to greet him. At the airport, Srila Prabhupada was accustomed to much fanfare, the rhythmic crash of hand cymbals, the beating of mridangas, and the chanting chorus of hundreds or more happy devotees. Only if they became wild or disruptive would he object. Otherwise, as Krishna's representative, he would be pleased to see an enthusiastic reception as he collected flowers and obeisances like a viceroy accepting tribute on behalf of the king. By his grace, the praise and the worship was going directly to Krishna. Thus, in Philadelphia, as at almost every airport reception, Srila Prabhupada felt satisfied. With loving glance, he acknowledged the familiar faces of his spiritual sons and daughters. Devotees stepped forward to place flower garlands around his neck, and the reporters also stepped forward with cameras, microphones, and notepads. They had not come to offer Prabhupada's devotional praise, and yet they also appeared to be serving him by offering him the opportunity to preach. A women reporter asked, it has been said that the Krishna consciousness movement is what some people consider sexist or racist because certain propensities for women and for the blacks have been defined either by the devotees or the Vedic scriptures. I wonder if you would comment on that. She had spoken rapidly, and Brahmananda Swami repeated for Srila Prabhupada. She says, you give inferior roles to women and Negroes. Prabhupada, we give equal roles spiritually. Materially, one man is servant and one man is master. How can you avoid this? Do you think everyone will be master? No one will be servant? Materially, one is father, one is son, one is master, one is servant, one is man, one is woman. How can you stop this? But spiritually, they are all equal. Here, the same news theme that had begun in Chicago, and here came the same challenges. Reporter. So, what is happening materially is unimportant? Prabhupada. Materially, there is distinction. But when you come to the spiritual platform, then when you discern the spirit soul within everything, that is equal. Like you are differently dressed in a red shirt, and I am differently dressed, this difference must be there. There are so many men and women, and they are differently dressed. You cannot say that all are equal by dress. But within the trust, the living entities, they are the same. We make this distinction materially but not spiritually. I would like to ask one question, said another reporter. What is it that you are offering that has resulted in such an emotional response from all the people here? Prabhupada became, because they are being spiritually educated. We are above the metal platform, therefore we have no distinction that one is American or one is Indian, one is black, one is white. There is no such distinction. Everyone is servant of the God. Is that all right? Another reporter mentioned that there were many gurus and asked why Prabhupada thought his teaching was the truth. Prabhupada, because we speak the truth. We don't give bluff, saying, I am God. We know the actual position that God is great and we are all servants. The questions had been asked in the typical reporter's attitude of irrelevant interrogation, but Prabhupada was replying soberly, reflecting on his own position in relation to Krishna. How can I say I am God? He said. He asked, and he lowered his head. No, we do not give bluff. We say the real truth. Therefore, it appeals. If I say something humbug, it may act for some time, but it will not endure. Reporter, your celebration is tomorrow. Of what will that celebration consist? Prabhupada's celebration, it is remembering Krishna or the Lord. He, with his brothers and sister, visited Kurukshetra, a place in India. So, in memory of that visit, we observe this Ratha Yatra. Srila Prabhupada got into the rented Cadillac limousine along with Kirtananda Swami, Brahmananda Swami, and Ravindra Swarupa, the Philadelphia temple president. So, again, the same question was raised, said Prabhupada. So, reply was all right? Yes, said Brahmananda. It was very nice. Prabhupada, materially there is distinction. You are differently dressed, I am differently dressed, but spiritually there is no distinction. The chauffeur glanced to the back seat. If you want any more air in the back, there is a control over there. We can put on the air conditioner, Srila Prabhupada, said Brahmananda. Oh, all right, said Prabhupada. But sky condition is better. They opened the windows. Prabhupada recalled that he had come from New York City with some devotees to university. In 1965, I went in New York for a meeting with Professor Mohammed Bhai Nikhilananda's class a year after Srila Prabhupada had spoken there. Ravin Swarup, the students remembered you. They told me you had asked Swami Nikhilananda. So you are studying Vedanta. But what is Vedanta? And no one knew. Then you said the that Veda means knowledge and Anta means end. So Vedanta means end of knowledge, and that is Krishna. They had never heard that before, even though they had so many hours of courses in Vedanta. Prabhupada, that is difficulty. Those who are foolish people are taking the leading part. One who has no knowledge is taking the part of a teacher. Just like this, one does not know what is Vedanta and he is reading Vedanta. It is very simple truth. Veda means knowledge, Anta means end. There must be some ultimate goal. But the modern process is that we go on unlimitedly, but we never come to the end. Is it not like that? What do you think, Ravin Swarup? Yes, it's a fact. No conclusion. They passed a large junkyard filled with scrap automobiles, motor car, Prabhupada said. Kirtanananda, that is the end of their knowledge, a pile of junk. Prabhupada, yes, their time is spent in breaking and building, that's all. They do not inquire why breaking and building, why not permanent. The question does not arise and they cannot solve it. They think this breaking and building is the nature, but we are giving information of another nature. There is no breaking and building, permanent, but they cannot believe that there is such a thing. We are giving that information. How you can keep yourself eternal? This is the greatest gift to the human society. He wants to live eternally. but he doesn't know how to live eternally. His energy is being spoiled by the skyscrapers building construction, but he is not very serious to construct his body eternal. We are speaking this in our meetings everywhere, but they have no brain to understand. They rode around the sharply winding curves alongside the Shoy Schuylkill River. Passing Fairmount Park, the devotees pointed out to Prabhupada that it contained 1,000 acres of forest land. Prabhupada asked Kirtananda Swami how far it was to New Vrindavan, and they began talking. When Prabhupada asked about the grahasthas there, Kirtananda replied, "We are developing very nice householder couple at New Vrindavan, very good families. That is essential," said Prabhupada. The peaceful life of householders that is required. The ISKCON center was a converted two-story house. The temple room was packed with devotees and others filled the hallway, straining to see Prabhupada as he entered. "Thank you very much for your kind reception," said Srila Prabhupada from his seat in the temple room. "The press reporters were asking me that why do we make distinction between man and woman and black and white, but we make distinction not in that way." Srila Prabhupada explained that the attempt to make everyone equally material would be a failure always, just as the United Nations attempt at unity was a failure. Bhagavad Gita states that one with equal vision recognizes the difference between the bodies but sees all beings as one spiritually. Srila Prabhupada continued, "If we make unfair distinction between man and woman or black and white, then how in our temple as are we all enjoying together? Because we are actually equal in the spiritual platform. We do not say that you are a woman and we welcome you cannot pick me. We welcome not misunderstand. Want to see everyone equally, treat everyone equally, then you have come to the spiritual platform, Krishna consciousness. Materially, it is not possible, but the aim should be one. If artificially you do not make distinction, that will not stay. Just like in your country, the blacks and whites they have equal rights, but why they fight sometimes? Racial fight because it is on a material platform. Our point is that you come to the spiritual platform and then this equality will be possible. Practically, you can see here while you are chanting, dancing, the boy is dancing, the father is dancing, the black is dancing, the white is dancing, the young is dancing, the old is dancing. You can see practically everyone dancing. Then they are not artificially dancing like dog, but by spiritual ecstasy. After his talk, Prabhupada called for questions. Ravindra Swarup, what is the best way to deal with skepticism? Prabhupada, skepticism, rascalism, devotee love. We are not going to deal with rascalism. We are going to deal with sense. Skepticism, they do not believe in anything. Everything is false. They are so disappointed. They think everything is false. We are not going to deal with such men. What is the use? It is not that skepticism. What is that skepticism? Ravin Swarup, disappointment, that's all. Prabhupada. So why should one be disappointed? We say that you should come to the spiritual platform and you will be happy. We want to deliver him from the platform of his disappointment. Sometimes one being very disappointed commits suicide. We say, why are you disappointed? You come to the spiritual platform and you will be happy. So we are not going to accept his philosophy, skepticism, but we want to deliver him from his fallen condition. This is our mission. The living entity, the spirit soul is by nature happy. There is no question of disappointment. You see Krishna's picture anywhere. How happy they are. The gopis are happy, the cowherd boys are happy, Krishna is happy. Simply happiness. Where is disappointment? So you come to that platform and then you will also be happy. Come to Krishna, come and dance with Krishna, eat with Krishna. This is information we are giving. What is the question of disappointment? Come to Krishna. Krishna therefore personally comes to show how happy he is in Vrindavan and he is inviting, come to me. Prabhupada continued his ecstatic description of happiness in Krishna consciousness and then concluded, is that all right? Many voices together answered yes. There was no disappointment or skepticism in Srila Prabhupada's presence. Srila Prabhupada had come to Philadelphia primarily for Rath Yatra. Since 1970, the devotees had been holding Rath Yatra in Philadelphia, although the early festivals had been small. For the first festival, the devotees had taken small deities on procession on a decorated cigar box. They had placed the deities on an altar on the bank of yeah, Shilkil river and had held kirtan while people picnicked and lay around in the sunshine. The next year's festival had been a little bigger, with foot high deities riding on a palanquin. It was still not a very ambitious festival, but Srila Prabhupada had written in appreciation. I'm so glad to hear how nicely you performed Rath Yatra. Next year, you can perform the regular ceremony with a cart as we are doing in San Francisco and London. That will be very nice. It doesn't matter if you construct a small one, but you can hold a festival. Ravin Swarup had become temple president just after Prabhupada's letter had arrived, and he had resolved to have a real Rath Yatra cart for 1972. So the devotees had done it. A small cart, but a cart, pulled in procession down to Washington Square Park. By 1973, they had made a large cart, and devotees from other cities had come to help with the festival. Again, Srila Prabhupada responded, at a Rath Yatra, there must be either one or three carts. It is very good news to hear that one television station is interested to do a special program on Rath Yatra. These festivals are good for showing to the people in general that Krishna consciousness is real happy enjoyment. Everything else is simply artificial. Your plans for Rath Yatra festival are very nice. In the summer of 1974, Rabin Swarup had written to Prabhupada about the preaching activities in Philadelphia and had sent photos of their Jagannath deities. Srila Prabhupada had been moved by the pictures. I want to thank you 100 times for the excellent way you are worshipping the deity there, as I can see from the color photographs you have sent. From my childhood, I was also worshipping Lord Jagannath. When I was 6 years old, my father gave me a ratha and I was performing Rath Yatra in my neighborhood. Now, in the Western world, you are worshipping Lord Jagannath so gorgeously and it pleases me very much. Thank you again for the way you are conducting the deity worship in Philadelphia Temple. As for the Rath Yatra ceremony, you should go on with it, and I shall attend there next year. But you go on holding a splendid ceremony for the people of the city. I am sure that it will be a success. In 1973, Srila Prabhupada had written from Denver assuring the Philadelphia devotees, yes, I am coming to your city on Friday morning, July 11, 1975, from Chicago. I look forward to meet the professors. Therefore, when the devotees in Chicago had tried to convince Prabhupada to stay and attend their festival, scheduled at the same time as uh, Philadelphia's, he had declined. Shortly after Srila Prabhupada's arrival, it began to rain all day Friday and all day Saturday. When the time came for Prabhupada's morning walk and rain was still pouring, he said, so today I will take my walk by riding. Getting into his car, along with some of his sannyasis and GBC men, he set off in the rain for a ride through Fairmount Park. The rain continued on Saturday right up until the time for the Ratha Yatra parade. The parade was to start at Independent Mall, head down Walnut Street to Broad Circle City Hall, and end on the grassy slope behind the Philadelphia Museum of Art. Prabhupada rode into the city, where he was to meet the Rath Yatra cart halfway through the procession. The rain had stopped, but dark clouds still hung ominously overhead. Majestically, the large 40-foot high cart moved down Walnut Street, but by the time it reached 11th Street, Srila Prabhupada had gotten out of his car 2 blocks away and was walking toward Lord Jagannath. A large group of devotees surrounded Prabhupada, and the devotees on the cart could see him approaching. The two groups joined, and the kirtan swelled. Standing before the cart now, Srila Prabhupada got down on his hands and knees and touched uh, his head to the road in obeisances to Lord Jagannath. This cart was the best yet, Prabhupada said. Especially liked the large, strong wheels ornamented like a ornately decorated small round and diamond shaped mirrors were the deities, and for the first time in days the cloud parted and the sun shone through. Now people started pouring out of offices and stores. They lined the sidewalks and came out into the road to join the procession. As the cart circled City Hall, the sound of the devotees singing began, magnified, echoing of the tall buildings. The crowd was the largest ever at any Philadelphia Rath Yatra. Hecklers, Christian fundamentalists with big banner reading, "Get smart, get saved," and "Repent or burn," were influential amid the large crowd and the uproarious kirtan. At one point, when Srila Prabhupada appeared particularly satisfied, a devotee on the cart leaned over and asked Srila Prabhupada what he thought of the festival. Prabhupada replied that he was thinking the American Vaishnavas were now permanently in the West. The park behind the art museum was crowded with people waiting. Srila Prabhupada took his seat on stage and began lecturing over the public address system. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I wish to thank you, the inhabitants of this great city, Philadelphia. You are so kind and enthusiastic in taking part in this movement. So I am very much obliged to you. I am especially obliged to the American boys and girls who are helping me so much in spreading this Krishna consciousness movement in the Western countries. Prabhupada explained how all living entities are eternal, but having taken material bodies are subject to the tribulations of birth, death, disease, and old age. In the human form, the soul can choose to go back to the spiritual world or to suffer birth after birth in the material world. But why should we remain in this material body and undergo repetition, change of body? Prabhupada asked, let us have our original spiritual body that is wanted, that is intelligent. Prabhupada explained the science of chanting Hare Krishna and invited everyone to try it. We don't charge anything for this Hare Krishna mantra, he said. We are chanting everywhere as you saw in this Ratha Yatra. Our only means is chanting Hare Krishna, and these thousands of men are following simply by chanting Hare Krishna. So you can understand what is the potency of this Hare Krishna mantra. We did not pay you, ladies and gentlemen, anything to follow us, but we simply chant Hare Krishna. So it is very potent. You will never feel tired chanting Hare Krishna. You see, practically, you can go on chanting 24 hours. You will never feel tired. Therefore, it is said, Goloke talked about Kurukshetra and trying to bring him back to Vrindavan. It is advanced devotees they can enjoy. Concluding his address, he invited everyone to look at the Krishna conscious literature and try to understand. The devotees had prepared 1200 pounds of halwa and large quantities of vegetables, sweet, and fruit punches, which they very efficiently served to the crowd. Prabhupada was satisfied with everything and returned to his house while the devotees continued until sunset, feasting, chanting, and hosting thousands of festival goers. The day after Rath Yatra, Srila Prabhupada met with a room full of people, including two reporters and several parents of his disciples. The reporters were Miss Sandy Nixon, a freelancer, freelance writer, and from the Philadelphia Inquirer, Miss Jones, the same woman who had spoken with Srila Prabhupada at the airport. Seeing Japa bead around Nixon's neck, Prabhupada said, "She is a devotee." She was chanting. Miss Nixon said she was writing a book on popular gurus and had about 15 questions to ask Srila Prabhupada. I am going to ask you questions, she said, and most of the time I might be able to answer them myself because she was already knowing the answers to the questions she was about to ask. How did Krishna consciousness develop? Miss Nixon asked. Krishna consciousness is already there in everyone's core of heart, replied Srila Prabhupada. You have seen how during the whole procession they were chanting and dancing in extremes. They were chanting and dancing in extremes. Srila Prabhupada about gurus, about the daily lives of the devotees, while slaughter of cows. It is an innocent animal. He said, it is simply eating grass given by God and supplying milk, and from milk we can live. And the gratefulness is cut their throat, cut her throat. Is that civilization? How do you say? What do you say? I agree 100%, Miss Dixon replied. I want you to say these things instead of me. Uh, I am asking the questions for others, of course. What do you understand? Who do you who do not understand Krishna consciousness? Again, the devotee flinched. That Prabhupada did not always respond to a person's attitude or nonce did not mean that he was imperceptive. He sometimes chose not to relate to a certain idiom or react to a certain foolishness, like Miss Nixon's claims to be an expert on Krishna consciousness. And often he simply ignored a person's trivial conversation and mundane philosophy. But he was always in touch with whomever he talked to, addressing the person's true self interest. He knew Miss Nixon didn't know the answers to the questions he asked, and he understood that she was, despite her temporarily donned chapel bead, not inquiring as a submissive disciple. Nevertheless, he was compassionate, answering to enlighten both her and her readers. Miss Nixon plunged onward. How do you feel about women's lib? Prabhupada remained silent, and a devotee repeated, she wants to know about the women's liberation. What is your feeling about women's liberation? That I don't want to discuss, said Srila Prabhupada, because Srila Prabhupada was serious expression slowly changed to a smile. Chicago remarks were mercy, but he did want to clear up the issue. He continued. As you have asked, so I may explain how the foolish women are being cheated by the intelligent men. In your country, they have given you liberty. Liberty means equal rights, is it not? Man and woman have equal rights. Miss Nixon, they are trying in this country. Prabhupada, all right, trying. But you women, you cannot see that this so-called equal rights means cheating the woman. Now I say more clearly that a woman and man meet. Now they become lovers. They have sex, and the woman becomes pregnant, and the man goes away. The simple woman, she has to take charge of child and beg for government arms. Please give me money. This is your independence. So you admit this is independence, or she tries to kill the child. Do you think it is very good independence? What is your answer? Srila Prabhupada looked challengingly at both women. They had asked their question. What is my answer to that? Is that the question? Prabhupada, yes. They are killing now. Abortion. Miss Jones, well, she has made the choice. Prabhupada, you have made your choice to kill your child. Is that a very good choice? Miss Nixon, it's the worst crime you could make. Srila Prabhupada to Miss Jones. Do you think it is very good business? Miss Jones, I think it is very complicated question. I say, understand. They are cheating you, and you are thinking you are independent. Miss Nixon. They forget the responsibility that comes with freedom. Prabhupada, yes, the men do not take the responsibility. They go away, they enjoy and go away. The woman has to take the responsibility, either kill the child or maintain begging. Do you think begging is very good in India? Although they are poverty strike and still they do not become independent. They remain under the care of the husband, and he takes all the responsibility. She has neither to kill the child nor to beg for maintaining the child. So, which is independence? To maintain under a husband is independence, or to become free to be enjoyed by everyone? There is no freedom, but still they think they have freedom. That means under some plea, the men are cheating women. That's all. In the name of independence, they have agreed to be cheated by another class. That is the situation. Prabhupada explained that the Krishna consciousness movement had the highest regard for women, but to protect them from this exploitation by men, he said, "We teach that you do like this, you do like that, and you do like that. But you must treat him like this. You must treat him like that. If that man thinks, I am being practical, then you be married so far. But so there is no such thing that, oh, you are women, welcome. We don't say that. We welcome women, man, poor, rich, everyone. Because of on that platform there is equality. That is equality. Next, Miss Jones began to question. Ever since Srila Prabhupada's arrival in Chicago, she had been noting what she thought was Prabhupada's excessive material opulence. You have said that you are very small, she began, and that you are not God. Yet it appears to me as an outsider that the devotees treat you as if you were God. Prabhupada, yes, that is devotee's duty. Just like a government officer. Personally, he is not very important, but so long as he executes the government order, he should be respected as a government. That is the way. Even if an ordinary policeman comes, you have to respect him because he is government man. But that does not mean he is respected. If that man thinks I have become government, people are respecting me, that is he is foolish. But the etiquette is that when the government man comes, you should give him respect as the government. Miss Jones, I wonder about the many beautiful material things that the devotees bring to you. For instance, when you left airport, you left in a big, beautiful, fancy car. I have wondered about this. Prabhupada, that is teaching them how to respect. If you respect a government man as a government, then you must treat him like that. If you respect the spiritual master as God, then you must offer him the facilities of God. Otherwise, how should he treat me as God? Simply in his mind? No, in action also. Miss Jones, I am sorry. What was that you said? Prabhupada, if the spiritual master is treated as God, so the devotee must practically show how he is treating him as God. God travels by a golden car. So if the spiritual master is offered an ordinary motor car, still it is not sufficient because he has to be treated like God. What is this motor car for God? The devotees laughed at Prabhupada's bold logic. They had never thought of it like quite like that. If the Guru is God's representative, then why quibble if he is offered a mere uh, Cadillac of this material world? Prabhupada, they are still deficient. If God comes to your home, will you bring him an ordinary motor car or would you arrange for a golden car? So your point is that they offer me a nice motor car, but I say it is not sufficient. They are still lacking to treat him as God. Be practical. Miss Jones didn't think it was funny. She had another question. Her questions became more challenging. Prabhupada explained to her how she must have spiritual vision to see things in their proper per- perspective. But if you have no eyes, therefore you are envious because they have offered me a nice motor car. So you have to make your eyes to see. A blind man cannot see. The eyes are to be treated how to see. Miss Jones had one more question. One of the most difficult things to understanding Krishna consciousness, she said, was the deities. How could someone brought up in the West accept that the deities represented God? Srila Prabhupada explained that the spiritual soul within the body was the real self. Therefore, he said, as you cannot see the spirit, so you cannot see the spirit's supreme spirit or God. But to show his kindness upon you, he has appeared just like wood and stone so that you can see. The two reporters were finished with their questions and they thanked Prabhupada, who then turned his attention to others in the room. When a father of one of the devotees mentioned that he himself professed no religion, Srila Prabhupada replied indirectly that the father was therefore a fool. The man admitted it. The mother, however, was more spiritually inclined, and Prabhupada praised her and stating that the son takes on the traits of the mother. Another guest spoke. I would like to ask, Swami, would you pray for me? I am praying for everyone. Prabhupada replied softly, that is my business, otherwise, why have I come here? A woman addressed Prabhupada, as a mother, I too wish to thank you. My daughter Joy has found Krishna consciousness. She had become recommended for initiation tomorrow. Prabhupada. So we recommend everyone. Every American should be initiated. That is our recommendation. The sooner you accept this proposal, it is good for you to know God and love Him. Is there any difficulty? Some have become interested. Why not others? Prabhupada again glanced at the father who claimed to have no religion. Your son is interested, he said. Why the father is not interested? What is the reason? Thus the evening darshan continued until after a few hours Prabhupada ended it and distributed prasadam. When the large guests had left, several of the women devotees asked Prabhupada about the actual position of his women disciples. He smiled. When a woman becomes Krishna conscious, he said, her brain is automatically bigger. The devotees laughed. As he smiled, his devotees understood him perfectly. Whoever became a devotee, man or woman, became more intelligent. Being transcendental to the issue of men's or women's rights, Prabhupada saw beyond the designation of the body. He saw that the criterion for intelligence wasn't material, one's sex, race, nationality, but was one's desire for spiritual life. A woman devotee asked Prabhupada a further question about the position of women, and he replied, of course, you are not a woman, you are a devotee. Srila Prabhupada agreed to see several professors, acquaintance of Ravindra Swarup, having received his BA in philosophy from the University of Pennsylvania and his MA from the Temple University. Ravindra Swarup was now pursuing a PhD from the Temple. He had once given up academics as part of the world of Maya and had fully engaged in Krishna consciousness. But Prabhupada had encouraged him to return for a further degree. While in Philadelphia, Srila Prabhupada had spoken out against the process of inductive reasoning. On one morning walk, Ravindra Swarup had said, Prabhupada, the same criticism that you just made of induction was already made by John Stuart Mill and Bertrand Russell, but they became skeptics. They say, therefore, there is no knowledge at all. That is another nonsense, Srila Prabhupada had replied. That is also speculation because I have failed, therefore there is no knowledge. Dr. Yogesh Patel, a Western educated Indian born scholar of Buddhism and Mayavad Hinduism, taught in the religion department at Temple University. Accompanied by two graduate students, Dr. Patel dropped by one afternoon while Srila Prabhupada was talking in his room with several of his disciples. Ravindra Swarup made the introductions. Prabhupada, so you are teaching Hinduism. Dr. Patel, yes. Prabhupada, what is that Hinduism? Prabhupada, I don't know. You tell me what Hinduism is. Prabhupada, you don't know? You are teaching Hinduism, but you don't know what it is? This is our Dr. Swarup Damodar. He is also a PhD. Let us get his opinion on that. Turning to Swarup Damodar. What do you think of that? He is teaching, but he doesn't know. Swarup Damodar. Cheater, Srila Prabhupada. That is called cheater. Prabhupada. So you have heard his judgment that you are a cheater. Dr. Patel became angry and raised his voice at Srila Prabhupada. The professor and Srila Prabhupada were immediately into battle. Dr. Patel, you teach me. If I say I don't know what is religion, then you teach me. Srila Prabhupada, a spiritual master is not your servant. First, you become shaven headed, like my students. Then I will teach you. You have to offer your obeisances and surrender to the spiritual master. Then he will reveal the truth. Dr. Patel replied that he did offer his obeisances to Prabhupada when he first entered the room. Prabhupada, then my first instruction to you is to stop this cheating. By now, both Srila Prabhupada and Dr. Patel were speaking with raised voices. Most of the devotees were shocked, speechless. Some of them, like Brahmananda, felt compelled to somehow end the meeting. Prabhupada, you ask me what is religion. My reply is Sarva Dharma Parityajya. Krishna says religion means Sarva Sharanam Vraja, fully surrender. Dr. Patel, what do you mean by surrender? Prabhupada, you don't know the meaning of surrender? Give me a dictionary. Let us see. Dr. Patel yelling, no, I want the Sanskrit etymological meaning of surrender. Prabhupada, you don't want a spiritual master, you want a Sanskrit teacher? We cannot waste our time anymore. Brahmananda Swami saw this as his cue. He leaned over to Dr. Patel and asked him to leave before you get offensive. Dr. Patel and Brahmananda Swami then arose and left the room together. Srila Prabhupada remained shaking with anger. The senior devotees looked over at Ravindra Swarup reproachfully. How could he bring such a man to to Prabhupada? Ravindra Swarup was appalled and frightened. Never before had anyone seen Prabhupada explode with such anger. After staying up all night, Ravindra Swarup approached Prabhupada the next day morning with a prepared apology. Srila Prabhupada, he began, I am really sorry that I brought that professor to see you last night. I had no idea that he was such a rascal. Srila Prabhupada looked up in surprise. Oh, he said, that is all right. He paused and then added with quiet satisfaction, at least he was chastised. Dr. Thomas Hopkins, another teacher of Hinduism, came to see Prabhupada, but in a much different mood. From the beginning, they experienced an immediate rapport. Dr. Hopkins asked Prabhupada the relationship of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada replied that Bhagavatam was like a graduate study of the Gita, beginning where Gita left off. Dr. Hopkins, if someone was going to collect a very small section of your work, say one or two verses, what would you want them to collect? That is stated in two verses. Prabhupada replied, Dharmasya apavargasya, and he had translation read, all occupational engagements, dharmas, are certainly meant for ultimate liberation. They should never be performed for material gain. Furthermore, one who is engaged in the ultimate occupational service, dharma, should never use material gain to cultivate sense gratification. Prabhupada had the purport read and he expanded on it further, explaining how people are only after material gain, neglecting the real purpose of life. Shall I continue? Dr. Hopkins, do you think then this message is the most important message that you have to convey? Prabhupada, that is the most important message because you are not this material body. Suppose you have got this shirt. If you simply try to maintain this shirt, is that a very good intelligence? Without taking care of your person. Similarly, we are spirit's soul and the body is just like dress. So in the whole material world, everyone is engaged to take care of the body. Nobody knows what is spirit soul, what is his nature. Dr. Hopkins seemed pleased to hear such a broad explanation of Vaishnavism. When he asked about Shiva, Prabhupada explained that although Lord Shiva should not be considered equal to Lord Vishnu, he was the best Vaishnava, the chief devotee of Vishnu, and he should be worshipped as such. And Lord Ram, Srila Prabhupada explained that Ram was an incarnation of Krishna. Professor Hopkins was pleased to hear this. Prabhupada explained that Madhva Ramanuja and Vishnu Swami were all big acharyas. Dr. Hopkins then asked about Tukaram, the saint of Maharashtra. Prabhupada, yes, Tukaram accepted Vishnu as the supreme. He accepted the process of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sankirtana, and he accepted Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as his guru. So there is no difference between Tukaram and Chaitanya. Dr. Hopkins. So Lord Vitthal and Krishna are the same. Prabhupada, Lord Vitthal is Vishnu. Dr. Hopkins and the Alvars of Tamil Nadu, Adivasis, you accept their teachings also. So the real question is between Vaishnavas and others. Prabhupada, yes, that is the question. Vaishnava and non-Vaishnava. The actual difference is personalist and impersonalist. Dr. Hopkins, you would see the worshippers of Shiva as impersonalists. Prabhupada, yes, impersonalist. Shankaracharya said that ultimately the absolute truth is impersonal, and one can imagine a personal form for the benefit of the worshipper. When Dr. Hopkins pointed out that some of the Shiva's worshippers seemed to be the personality of Shaivites, according to Shankara, now I am a devotee, said Prabhupada. But as soon as I become perfect, I become one. That is their theory. In the preliminary stage, when I am not perfect, I am worshipping some imaginary form of God. But when I become perfect, then there is no need of worshipping. I become one. As a scholar, Dr. Hopkins was visibly pleased to hear the authentic philosophy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When Prabhupada mentioned the smart Brahmanas as also being impersonalist, Dr. Dr. Hopkins was surprised. It would be very difficult to sorry, pick them out, said Prabhupada. Most of the so-called Vaishnavas are impersonalists. Dr. Hopkins. So the deciding test as to whether one is a serious devotee or not is not only whether one is devoted now, but that he sees the goal as perpetual devotion. Prabhupada. Yes, he is Nitya Yukta. That means perpetually. Dr. Hopkins, considering this criterion, inquired about the position of Sri Aurobindo, who seemed to be beyond impersonalism. Prabhupada agreed. He says that above the Mayavad philosophy, there is something else. Prabhupada explained, that is bhakti. But Aurobindo considered him not, but Aurobindo could not understand because he did not take education from realized persons. He wanted to realize by himself. Dr. Hopkins, so his problem was the effort to do this on his own, go through the process, and finally he had to leave and thank Prabhupada for his time. And why don't you join us also? Asked Prabhupada. The whole human society should join us. Dr. Hopkins replied that he had been a friend of the devotees for many years and suspected that in the end he might end up as a sannyasi. Sannyasi doesn't mean a change of dress, but rather giving everything to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's continue this remaining short part next time. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you,
Yes.
Prabhuji, for narrating this elaborate part. Prabhuji,
Yeah.
so we just read that for the followers of Shiva, they are also like impersonalists, and
Yeah.
they believe that they will become one. You mean when
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
believe that when they will become perfect, so they will become like
Yes.
Lord Shiva or like this? So Lord
They
Shiva is
not
the
they will
imaginary
become. They will
form?
merge.
They
No,
will
no. They
merge.
become merge.
Ah, okay.
So everything. So which means even Lord Shiva doesn't has a form. No, that's the reason they worship this linga swarup. L- Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we see a deity is like having face. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So that is the understanding. So basically, what is happening is, I am. It is just like uh, I am. I am. Just imagine this, like you are swimming in water,
Yes, yeah.
and one day you become water. Is that possible? So that is the understanding. I am in a vast ocean of water, and then as I kept on myself immersed, then I will also, yeah, transform into that. So that is understanding. Whereas That's not true. Yeah.
Okay, and this the form of Lord Shiva for them is the imaginary
Yeah,
that
is only a means to see, as we also read, right? That why do we chant loudly or why do we have murti form? Yeah. So there is this focus, just like if you take a magnifying lens, and if you see that if you put it to the sun, yeah, under the sun, you will see that okay, it's going to pull all the light into one focal point, right? And then we see, oh, it's only a convenience. So the light is everywhere, the energy is everywhere, but we are bringing it. So, uh, so this is how we see is that yes, Lord is present everywhere. We agree, but we also see that He's not only present everywhere, but He has also a form. Yeah, but if we see a impersonalist idea is it is only for coming to a point. That's why we are opting for a deity worship. Otherwise, there is no need of a deity because after I realize everything that everything is me, everything is Lord, I am also Lord. So then there is no need of God, right?
mm. So this pointing out with this lens, it is their theory.
No, no, I'm just giving example for us to understand it.
Yes, yes. So this pointing out, what was the example, Prabhuji, for this?
The purpose is to explain that the Lord can himself come. Yeah, it's this whatever the focal point, whatever is coming, is it artificial?
No.
Yeah, it is concentrated, right? It is
Yes.
concentrated energy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
we
Yeah.
see that Lord is present everywhere. Just
Mm,
because you put a lens, does it mean that the all energy is coming here and there is no more energy? No, Lord, eh,
mm.
still there is lot of light all over.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Lord is all pervading. Similarly, the sun rays are all pervading. At the same time, it can be concentrated at one point made of wood or, this is what Prabhupada was
Mm,
giving example, no? So in that way, he can, for us, he can manifest himself, uh, and it is as equal as the other form, yeah, for
mm.
worshipping.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Very
we
nice.
accept it as a fact. They don't accept
Mm,
it as a fact. They accept it as a means to attain. So you are a student. It's as if like you are a student you student in a college. So uh, after you get graduation, you are no more student. Your status is changed. You are a teacher now,
mm.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're
Yeah.
you're no more student. So that change. This is what they see. This is as a change. My state of change. Right now I am not knowing. That's why. Right now I am not realized. That's why I am in this stage. After I realize I am no more the being.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Thank you. Today was another session of women rights. Actually, I was from last week till now. I was also having this. Yeah, I wanted to write a article about equality of men and men, and my main theme was also what Prabhupada was. Yeah, whatever we read today. That yeah, there is equality. Yeah, equality in these. I wanted to write where in all places the equality is there. Yeah, and how equality can be seen is spiritually. And Prabhupada was giving all that. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else? Dwarkavasini Mataji, where are you? Kaur Bhagwan Prabhu, where are you? Very well. Uh-huh. They are somewhere in cloud. Am I
Hare
audible?
Krishna Prabhu. Are you able to hear?
Yes, Prabhu. I can hear you.
Yes, Prabhuji. It was this session was especially I like the interaction between the parents and the Prabhupada himself. Talk with the parents of his disciples and that part
Yeah.
I like he was answering the questions and he was appreciating and he
Yeah.
was telling that everyone should become a devotee in front of him. then
Yeah.
when
When you're saying this, it reminds me the importance of how, because the parents sometimes are very concerned of their kids now, because oh, my kid might get cheated, my kid might become, they have their personal experience, right? So they have their personal experience that oh see
yes,
and the parents always want what happiness of their children, and when they're convinced they will support more than actually rebel. So it's a very important that we have to encourage this, yeah, that what Prabhupada has done, right? So if someone is there, then we have to connect them to proper uh, sessions or some, yeah, yatras of with gurus, and let them just observe, because if we tell, uh, it may not be so easy because they need their experience. Even we had our
yes,
experience, then only we got convinced, right? So yeah, when they came, when they see Prabhupada, yeah, when they opened up their mouth and they're sharing themselves, right? Oh, yeah, my boy or my daughter, they were very happy. So this is very very nice.
mm, okay. Yeah, all got benefited by seeing. Yeah, it was the I felt like the devotees or the boys, devotee boys. Yeah, they brought good fortune that parents could see Prabhupada face
Yes,
to face, and
yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, as you are speaking, I also felt the same, that the children bring the good fortune to the parents. Yeah. But I can also see that because maybe the parents are also have brought up the kids with good values, that's why they could quickly also understand Prabhupada.
mm,
That's also possible, right?
yes,
Of course, for a moment when Prabhupada not yet was in the US, because of lack of that, youth may have got into so many other things. But yeah, there is also some security that is given by the parents or others. So in all ways, no, we can always remember that if I am practicing bhakti, it is the grace of so many people, including our relatives, parents, society sometimes. When society is not good, that motivates us to see the truth, right? So many, yeah, when we talk about Radhanath Maharaj, or when we talk about Sachinandan Maharaj, when we talk about uh, others, right? They see a lot of disturbances in this world, huh? That led them
mhm,
to look for such truth. Even Kadamakaran Maharaj, they left their homes. Why? Because they see a strong need of
yes, yeah. All
yeah.
these examples,
Okay,
yeah,
thank you
we,
so much,
we
and sorry for
see,
the late. Yeah, you're saying.
yes,
Yeah,
as I
example,
was saying,
please.
yeah, yeah, such a great souls, yeah, devotees, yeah, they have so much compassion that, yeah, as Sri Prabhupada was saying that, yeah, everyone, somebody asked him that he will pray for him, so he say that
Yeah,
he only reason to go anywhere is to pray for them.
yeah,
It is only, pure devotee can do for
yeah,
everyone.
yeah. It's not only that Prabhupada wrote in the purports about, yeah, welfare of everyone, compassionate. So we can see him that he led a life of that, always praying for others, doing everything, nothing for himself.
Yeah,
Even for that matter, today I was when we are reading this, na, when Prabhupada was telling fact that a guru should be treated properly. Yeah, he should be well respected, and he should be honored as equal as God. Yeah. So this is very very important. See, Prabhupada didn't expect that all those treatments are for him. Yeah, but as a position, as a representative, he kind of commanded. Yeah, this is how one should do. Uh, he has shown also in the examples, right, how to perform a Vyasa Puja, how to honor a guru on his birthday. This is one I think we came across in the volume one or two, I don't know, somewhere. Uh, and then he showed each and everything, not thinking, oh, by this he will be getting more comfort. He was not keen on those, but he wanted to establish the whole parampara system, etiquettes, and everything. And then, yeah, he was giving very nice reasoning uh, to make us accept it.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So Guru is our saving grace. Yeah. When he is there, we have to take care like this. And after, yeah, he leaves the world. Yeah, we see how his disciples are uh, expanding their Guru's presence all over the world, right? So many centers are there, so many programs are there, so many preaching, book distributions are going on, everything. And yeah, everything offered to their Guru on the day of Vyasa Puja. On Vyasa Puja, they say, hey, if you read how Indranath Maharaj writes his offering, if you read how Sachinandan Maharaj writes his offering, yeah, if you read, whose did I read? Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. Yeah, wonderful offerings they have offered to Prabhupada. Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Yeah, yeah. So what are they doing is they are working hard for that day that they collect. And it's not like, okay, what did they do? Of course, they are never satisfied with what they have achieved, but this is the offering they will give it to their Guru on that day. And Prabhupada showed it's not like, okay, no, by seeing, oh, how many are glorifying me, see how great I am. No, he is just passing to his Guru that, I am just his dog. And then, so this is carried to Krishna like that. Yeah. Okay, Prabhuji, I don't know, I'm very tired. Uh,
Are you having some cold, or have you
Cold I
got
have been
some cold?
having since 2 weeks. No, we went
Mhm.
out and we just came.
Mhm. Mhm.
And yeah, but anyway,
I had
good
also
morning, good afternoon.
got cold in this Bhagavatam during
Bhagavad
Bhagavatam
Sapta. Uh-huh.
Saptah. Our Dwarkavasini has got one more stage with ear infection, so he
What
has
infection?
left some ear